Hi everyone, welcome to Coffee Break with Christine. Happy hump day. We're halfway through the week. Today I have a special guest. Her name is Shannon. She will just be joining us here shortly. Here we go. She's coming in now. Hi, how
Hey,
are you?
I'm
Good to
great. How are
see
you?
you.
Good to see you.
I meant to ask you before we start. I love the map. I saw it when we had the group chat last week, but where did you get that from?
I found it at a thrift store. So
No
funny.
way.
Yeah, it's like always one
Amazing.
of those treasures. Like I can't believe someone didn't find it before me and just grab it and run out the door, right?
It was
So,
meant to be.
yes, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. Thanks for your time. I know you're a busy lady, but I know there's a lot going on and there's a lot to share. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your business or businesses and kind of a little bit about your journey to entrepreneurship?
That's wonderful. Thank you for having me, first of all. It's such a
Of
pleasure to
course.
see your face and to be a part of what you're doing. So,
Oh, thank you. Well, with COVID, I think it's super important to support women businesses. Everyone was hit hard and just want to keep the good vibes flowing. So yeah,
yes.
tell us all about you and what you're doing.
Well, I have a really hard time talking about myself, but I can definitely talk about the things that I'm doing. Basically, for those of you who don't know me, thank you for having me. I'm Shannon Rizzo, and I'm the CEO and founder of Global Girl Life, which is now an online publication. We now have a Global Girl Life retail shop where we support artisans all over the world. We import their handmade products and sell them locally in the United States. And then just most recently, 2 weeks ago, we started our foundation, which is the sole purpose of why I'm here on this earth, I feel, is to help children and women gain an education so that they can better their lives and improve their situation, their socioeconomic situation to get out of poverty. And
Hmm.
the foundation now supports a rehabilitation center, a
Oh.
uniform project, and an artisan co-op. So that's
In
where
which
most of my
countries?
energy. Say
Which
it again.
countries are
It's
those?
Honduras. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
they're all Honduras. Okay.
yeah. So I went there. It's in one community called Cox and Hole.
Okay.
And I went there 2 years ago as a guest for someone who was basically trying to make a difference in the community, just one person at a time. And I now know that that was her mission, was to actually introduce me to that place, because she's since moving on and doing some other things. And it's just a really incredible experience to be able to kind of know what your purpose is. And
Hmm.
so the last part of what I do is coach women and through entrepreneurship. So from
Yep.
startup to inception on how to find your purpose and live that every day, because it gets hard. You need support. And so it's a full service coaching program that I have with Shannon Rizzo Consulting. So all of those brands basically are one big supply chain to happiness. Um,
Hmm.
so making a change in the world, being the change that you can, and helping other women and helping children get to that point where they can start to be fulfilled and then help others.
Hmm. That's amazing. I know. So Shannon and I met online. I found her blog and she asked me to be a contributor. And that was what, 2018 was it? Spring of
Oh, yeah.
2018. So it's been 2 years now.
Uh,
And we were both kind of just starting on our journeys. I was getting ready to quit my job and I think you had just quit or just left. So we were kind of and I just, the name Global Girl, obviously, we're both huge travelers, and that really attracted me. And I just love how I've seen you grow and blossom and what it's turned into. And Shannon, just so everyone knows, has like the biggest heart. She invited my partner and I down for 4th of July 2 years ago now. I can't believe it's been
you have
two
to come
years.
back.
I know. And opened their home, opened their city, showed us amazing Nashville, and yeah, we still have to get on one of those trips like at the same time together. We're both always just jetting off to new places. Well, we did meet in Madrid, which was
I
awesome.
know, so cool. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly the life that we need to get back to.
Yeah.
I'm just so ready to travel again. My
Oh,
heart is full, and I'm just like, I've got to get this energy out somewhere, you know.
yeah. I hear you. Um, and one other thing that I'll say about you, I think that I love is that you are authentic and you truly, live like what you say. So the life that you and I are both living with traveling and working and traveling from different places, it's not one of those like, oh, look at Instagram and like fake lives. It's like we're both really doing it and supporting others along the way, which
Yeah.
is super important. So it's everything that you're doing is amazing. I love that you've turned it into a nonprofit. And let's see. So, what has been the most difficult aspect of entrepreneurship for you?
I can talk about that in real time right now. Like, this morning has been absolutely absurd. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I just, I wake up every day with a renewed energy for the day. So no matter what, I'm usually within a 6 hour turnaround, whatever situation is really terrible, I can pretty much process it and then move on. I mean, as entrepreneurs, we have to have a hard shell, but we still have to have our heart in everything that we do. And that's a really hard thing to kind of manage and to
Mm-hmm.
understand yourself well enough to be able to do that. And most days I'm really good at it, but some I'm not. And today was
Everyone
one of those
has,
days. And I
yeah.
think that the biggest thing for me is, and I think most women and most entrepreneurs that are women, is to be able to juggle every single thing that you're responsible for, be able to be the visionary and the creative in your life, be able to be the person who can communicate that, and then also be able to follow up with all the things that you are putting out there in the world, because some of us have figured it out and some of us haven't, and some days we're on one side and some days we're on the other. And so
Mm-hmm.
today I just woke up in a really good mood and I felt clarity, and then a couple of things happened with contributors and different things that I'm not skilled at. Like, I'm really still learning everything that I do. I don't have a master plan for it. I just am
Mm-hmm.
really heart centered, and that gets you in trouble in business sometimes, but mostly your intuition can carry you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's how I operate. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of put out in the world that I want to be on more podcasts. I want to meet more amazing women. I want to wrap myself with other powerful women. And so I got that, and it's really hard to manage. So that's kind of some struggles that I'm dealing with. That's probably the hardest thing for me, is to trust my instinct on my own vision and
Mm-hmm.
be able to also accept other people in my life with their vision, and make sure that we're helping everyone be their best, but that they don't kind of intermingle with what that looks like for yourself. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a very strange balance that I'm still learning. I mean, it may be a lifetime journey for all I know, as far as learning how to do that.
Yeah.
But that's probably the biggest thing that I face, is trying to help the most people, but also not tapping into that resource where I'm not full. And
Mm-hmm.
I think with a lot of women, that's what the struggle is. It's really, and I wouldn't say just women. I mean, people in general, especially right now. But because I
Mm-hmm.
deal with women and work with women every day, that's where my mind is centered. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's leading my Level Up Academy program, which is a 90-day program to teach women how to go from their idea to making money within 90 days. The biggest struggle that they also have is, how do I juggle everything? My how do I get my mindset straight for today, and how can I see the vision,
Mm-hmm.
far down the path, and be able to carry that out with, knowing that I'm okay and I'm okay and I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ups and downs emotionally with entrepreneurship. You get a new client and you're like, yay. And then the
Yeah.
next day, like someone leaves you and you're like, no, like it's so much like this.
Yes.
And then if you add traveling, the stress of traveling, seeing a new place, a new language, you could get sick. Like there's so many other factors too. Um, but I think, so I know I mentioned with you that I finished writing my book during quarantine. It's in the
Yeah.
editing kind of stage. But it's all about boundaries and the lack of that I had all throughout my life. I struggled with alcohol and relationships and things like that. And also now bringing boundaries into business as a business owner. And I share that, with women, we are such givers and carers and lovers, and we want to help, and we want to, if we're mothers, we want to put other people first and our family first. And sometimes we just have to say no. And sometimes we just have to put ourselves first. It's not selfish. Or we need to be selfish to fulfill our own needs and to get what is needed, never mind just wanted. So, so I definitely feel you on that. And it's a lifelong practice, but the more we do it, the easier it gets for sure. But it takes time to learn. And even just saying that first no to somebody, it starts to build your confidence and belief in yourself. But,
and I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think that, before I traveled, which was only in 2011, so I'm a new traveler. I've only been doing this for 9 years. Before I'd never left my town. It was so wild, and it changed my life, obviously. But, trying to kind of set the boundaries on saying yes, saying no, being raised in the South, everything was taught that you come second and you serve and you say yes, ma'am. No, yes, sir. You're always taught to say those things. And so even if it's not right for you, you still are obligated almost to say yes. And so I think you're right, like making the practice of saying no. And when I tell you, this is a really cool story. The person who taught me how to say no gracefully was actually from the Gambia. Her name was Nancy Mindy. And
oh, wow.
Educator. And she said to me one day, I said, Nancy, you have to come with us. We're going to do this girl thing, and we're going to have this great evening, and we're doing all these things. There's 10 of us going. And she said, honey, lovely, I would love to come, but I can't. And I'm going to have to decline that, gracefully, that I won't be able to join you, but my heart will be with you, and I hope you have a wonderful time. And I thought, that is the most amazing way to say no that I've ever heard in my life.
With a big bolt of energy.
Yes,
and
yes, honey, I cannot do it. And so her gestures and her emotion were so overbearing of a yes.
Yeah.
That I felt good about her saying no. And I'm like, that's what skill I need to learn. I need to learn how to tell people no like that. And then it will be much easier.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because it just popped into my mind. But different cultures say no in different ways, obviously, as you just explained. But some people say yes in their culture when they mean no also, which is they don't want to say no to you because out of fear or disappointing you. And so, I think some of the Latina cultures are like, yes, yes, yes. And then you get disappointed or you don't manage your expectations right. And it's a no. So even learning how to adapt to boundaries in different countries is completely different, the culture. So
look, I'm saying yes right now. I'm like, yes.
It's just what we're used to.
I think that we should have a tactical checklist of how to say no gracefully. Maybe that's an excerpt to the book or something, because that's something that I think that a lot of people need is just not only just say no. Well, sometimes it doesn't feel good to say no. We don't want to do what doesn't feel good.
Right. Well, I do have a how-to at the end, and about 10 pages for journaling I plan on with some questions to prompt people. But I also explain why and how. So knowing what's important to you. So if I value, if I'm going to run a marathon, I need to set a schedule and set up boundaries and times that I'm going to get my training in, or, because that's what's important to me. So recognizing our business goals that are important and just keeping the why in our mind will motivate us to stick to our boundaries and saying no. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the groups that you're running on Mondays, and did that come from COVID or, okay, so I was going to ask you how COVID affected your business, but so share a little bit about what you started.
Sure, I would love to. So the Monday night group meeting that we have at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom, you can check it out at my I am Shannon Rizzo on Instagram. You can get the link there. We are it's an open forum for women or men, to come. We have a couple of guys that show up just to come in and have a safe environment with a led topic. And so I'll go into coaching. A lot of people during COVID, I think everyone, I mean, every single human needed support and needed something. And it was so hard to tell what I even needed. Like, I wasn't even sure. I just knew that I had fear and anxiety and all these things, and I'm not normally driven that way. So for me to understand more, I just thought, well, if I'm feeling this kind of way, then there must be other people that need support also. So
and lonely. People got really lonely because they were home alone. You know, we can work from anywhere, a cafe, but we couldn't even do that anymore.
Yes. And it's not even about being alone and being lonely. Some people have people in their home and they were lonely. So it's like you don't even know how to process the information when something so big happens. And I'm not sure how many people that are watching are from Tennessee, but we had just gone through a major tornado that tore apart our community.
Oh, that's right. I
And
forgot
so
about that.
COVID quarantine happened 6 days after that. And
oh, wow.
So my neighborhood was destroyed. My home was spared, but my neighbors weren't. And another community that's East Nashville, which you're familiar with, you've been here, really close to my home, gone. The whole community is gone.
Oh, wow.
And so it was devastating. And so you have basically, our community was pulling together like we always do. We're really good. The volunteer state, Tennessee, everybody came out, supported, gave water and food, housing, all these things were being poured in. And then quarantine happened.
And everything had to stop.
I started to see, yes, the devastation of people who are helpers couldn't help. And so it was shock and fear and all these things that people were experiencing, but we had a natural disaster to help with and we couldn't. So then it kind of amplified everything. And so I thought, I have the Level Up Academy, and it's great if you've started your business. But what if you can't even get on the phone call because you're not mentally prepared to see other people and tell them how you're feeling? So I just started the Level Out community. I was like, you have to level out before you can level up. So we just had it where it was a safe place you could come and we would talk about what was bothering us. And I found out very quickly that within about 5 minutes, no one was talking. It was just me. And I realized that they needed prompts. They needed, I just started telling stories, Christine. I really just basically started telling the way I felt. I was like, I'm scared. I don't even know what to say right now. I came on, I just put this group together and I don't really know what to talk about, but I'm going to tell you what I'm scared of. And I just started talking about my childhood and why I was feeling the way I did now, because it reminded me of things that were very unstable in my childhood, which wasn't terrible. It wasn't, horrible, but it wasn't great, So it just had to, I think those fears of instability and caution and all the things that we moved 17 times when I was a kid. So I've been to 17 different schools in Nashville before I graduated.
Wow.
So that being on the move gave me great skills, but also a lot of fear. And so this COVID did that to me again. It was like, you don't even know what's real. So how can you solve the problem?
Because no one's ever experienced this ever. No one. There's a few people that were alive during the flu, 100 years ago, but no one knew what to do.
Right. And we don't know how long it's going to last. And that's the other thing. Well, then you add all the other stuff that happened. We had another tornado, and then everything happened. The world's blowing up. Everybody's violent and, not being cautious of their words, and just so many terrible things were going on. So that group now has actually morphed into, I coach now for about 15 minutes on a topic that I see people struggling with that are in my current life. And I don't name names or anything, but a lot of them show up on the call, so they talk to themselves. But I ask, what would you like to talk about? We'll cover the topic. And I usually start with a quote or 3 on the quote. So I usually power them out. And then we just kind of open the floor. And usually after I start talking, people will interrupt me now. So I just say, interrupt me anytime. I'm just going to keep talking until somebody starts talking. And so as they feel the need, they'll interrupt and just start talking about the way they feel or their comment on what I said. And it ends up being a very, very cool conversation, because you realize that you're not alone. And not only are you not alone, but someone has the exact same feeling or the exact same problem. And it makes you feel like you're a part of something again, which is what I think a lot of us are missing.
Absolutely. And I think the sign of a a great leader is leading by example, and you're not afraid to do that. Like you said, you shared your vulnerability, you shared what you were feeling, your fears, and you were then able to draw people in. And I really like the one that I attend. I'm going to try to make another one. I have a call during that time usually, but it was really even helpful to hear. And again, like to have other people to bounce ideas off of, or fears off of. I know you and I this is our reschedule of our call. We were supposed to have it a couple weeks ago when everything happened with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was just so lost for words. And it's just amazing how the right people come into our lives at the right time. Like you just happen to be there, and we had a great conversation, and you kind of helped me turn things around. And yeah, we need to be there for each other. So I'm just curious, what's happening now? If there were two tornadoes, I didn't even realize there were two. I knew there was the one. So how is the community? Oh,
Three.
three, really? Oh my gosh. So how is the community recovering now that people can go out? Like what's going on there?
So, the way that COVID also affected businesses is that retail is pretty much wiped out.
Yeah,
Um,
here too.
and so, one of my businesses was retail, and I'm thankful and fortunate I have several different revenue streams to keep it going. And so I turned it over, but a lot of the people that were my clients were in these areas that were their home was there and their business was there, so their entire lives have been shut down. Thank goodness for the stimulus package and things like that did get people by a little bit more. But the things that we're doing for each other is trying to figure out different ways and different revenue streams to support people at home. So like our community right now is not being rebuilt, but it's just now construction. Was always considered one of the necessary businesses, but because everybody lost their will to work. Like it was like, what are we doing this for? Nobody had the motivation, and there wasn't a lot of leadership that was helping with that. So a lot of people just kind of went into their shell, and so right now it's just now starting to get rebuilt, and we're just now starting to have businesses open. Restaurants, probably the same where you are in many places all over the world, is takeout only, and we still are trying to recover and think what's safe. We're doing the temperature testing. Everybody's wearing gloves and masks and that sort of thing, but it's not really the same. And the whole thing about where we are is that everybody's very communal, like probably where you are too in Miami. I could see that being very communal, and it's just a process, and I don't really know what it's going to look like. But one of the things that I also did recently, I feel like I have 20 businesses, but they're really just revenue streams within the companies. I started doing sales for Melaleuca, which is a home health and hygiene company. And it's a very, very small entry fee to sell products. And it's doing great. And it's an opportunity. The reason I did it was an opportunity for people who didn't have a job to start making an income on things they were already spending money on. And so they can actually get paid for learning. And so I've just started some little things like that. And there's other people like me that are doing the same thing in the community. So just trying to figure out, if you're resourceful, what skills do you have and how can you help someone else that's having a hard time? So I've taught a lot on barter systems. So we're going back to barter again in a lot of ways. Just little things like that, like the strong business leaders are grouping together and collaborating and starting small projects that people can get involved in and feel like they're a part of something again. And it's stimulating creativity. So a lot of people who did have money have just started rebuilding stuff themselves. So it's just really good to see the action is happening without a lot of we need to get together, we need to do it together. They're just like, I'm just going to do this, and if you want to, come pick up a hammer and come over here and start hammering.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely, when we were there, definitely had that Southern friendly hospitality, both from you and your partner, but even your neighbors, they were checking in on us and making sure we were okay. So that's great that attitude has been instilled in the culture down there. So that's great. We're almost out of time. Oh man, I could talk to you all day. But let's see. What is one piece of advice that you have for someone who's just starting their journey to entrepreneurship? What would you say?
Embrace the suck. Everything is about learning. If you stop learning, you're gonna die.
Keep learning. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just keep learning. But really, if there's a really bad moment, realize it's in your life for a reason. And it may not be for you. It may be that you're supposed to learn something to help someone else in the future. So don't make it all about you. I have a couple tips, but it's like, one piece of advice that was given to me that's changed my life is that you're not that important, Shannon. And I'm like, it's such a huge relief to hear that. Like, thank you for saying that. Because, sometimes we get in our entrepreneur mind and we're like, if we don't do this, if we don't send this email out by 11:01, then we're going to, have a catastrophe. Everybody's waiting for your email. They're not. Like,
the world's not going to end. Yeah.
Now, if it's a transfer fee for someone that we're feeding in Honduras, then yeah, people are counting on you. That's where you prioritize, right? So take a deep breath. If nobody died, nobody's going to get hurt, and nobody's getting pregnant, it's probably okay. Like you can survive the moment, and it's going to be all right.
I love no one's getting pregnant. That's so funny. So what are your travel plans or plans even for the nonprofit? Like, I want to go to Honduras with you. I haven't been there actually, but what are the plans for the nonprofit, or how are you planning giving back once we can open up and travel again?
Yeah, we're going January. I don't have the date in front of me, but I think it's like the 19th through February 3rd or something like that. It's like the third week of January to February 3rd. And it's not for everyone to go during that whole time, but we're thinking about doing a retreat this year for a volunteer trip. So you can go and volunteer with me, help put uniforms on kids. We will just give you one price. We'll manage the whole thing. We'll give you a place to stay, the transportation. We'll take you on excursions. You'll meet the artisans. You will put uniforms on kids and meet the kids. Maybe go to Bible study with them. You'll go to the rehabilitation center in church and things like that. So that's what we're planning. It's probably going to be like a 4 to 6 day trip. And we're going to have that on our website. So the way that you can find out the information about that will be to go to globalgirllife.org. And you can look up Global Girl Life anywhere if they want to be, want to buy some great jewelry from artisans. There's Global Girl Life shop, and then we've got the publication, which you're going to be on again. And also, there's just so many resources. But I did do on the Instagram, on I Am Shannon Rizzo, I put a link tree, and I have a free mindset reboot for everybody who's watching today, as well as a free strategy session if they want to talk about changing what they're doing and they're not doing what we're doing. They want to kind of like amplify some other things. They can talk with me for about a half hour, or if they want to talk about a trip, I'd love to just talk about travel. So like
we can just talk. Yeah. I might schedule one of those.
Yes.
No. Okay. Yeah. I definitely want to learn more also about the retreat. And I don't know if you're planning on doing it all yourself, but if you're not, I'd love to maybe do a session on boundaries in business. So let's chat. But
I mean, and I have if you want to even be a guest speaker on our group, that would be great. I mean, I would lead that conversation. I've studied about boundaries so many times, but I feel like I don't know enough, or I'd be really good at it. So if I don't have it, I'm going to keep trying to learn, and I would love to talk to an expert about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all learning, and but I think you can always get a different perspective on it from other entrepreneurs, just about their experience. So I would love to say,
before we go, I just want to congratulate you on starting your group in Spain. Like that is
thank you.
Huge deal, and we don't celebrate our wins enough as women. Like especially if we're achievers, we're like, okay, we did that, we got to do this other thing. But I really want to take a moment and just congratulate you, because that's a spectacular feat.
Thank you.
It's helping so many people. So I love that. I love that you just conquered it. You went there, you did your thing, and you're like, here we are. This is what we're gonna do, girls.
Well, thank you. I think, it is truly my passion. I'm thinking of starting a branch in Miami, so we'll see. But when you and I met up in Madrid that time, I think that you saw the passion and how lit up I was about Spain and about the people there and the culture. And like you, I'm one that loves to give back and help. So thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging that. And Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. I was going to ask you where people can find you, but you just shared like all of your links and stuff. But is there anything that we left out or anything else that you would like to add?
I think just sign up for my newsletter on any one of the places that I mentioned for globalgirl.life,
Hmm.
globalgirllife.com, or globalgirllife.org.
Hmm.
And you'll get information about what we're doing and just stay in touch. We try to do one newsletter, but we have so much information coming out. We just do one a month on each one of the sites. So sign up for those, become a part of our community. And especially if you're doing something amazing, let us highlight you. Let us get the word out for you. So anybody who's watching that wants to take another step and just, jump out of the fear zone into the end zone and
Hmm.
try to just kind of spotlight themselves, let us help you with that. So
Yeah, you should connect with Odalis. She's here in Miami with me, and she's done a lot. She's a copywriter, and she started a virtual mom collective with another woman during the COVID. So kind of like what you're doing, but a safe space for moms and to share about the difficult and all
yes,
of that good stuff. And you don't have to be a
homeschooling.
mom to join. I just joined, and I am not a mom, so it's for
That's
everybody.
awesome. I love
So
it.
thanks, Odalis. I interviewed
Yeah.
her a couple weeks ago. It was great. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. I will be in touch about all of the upcoming things, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Me too.
Okay.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye. Have a great day.
You too.